This is our February energy update in terms of looking at the frequency of the number 2 and how we can work with the frequencies of the number 2 this month. Looking at astrologically what's coming in for us, looking at the number numerologically, how 2 is affecting us, and then also just looking at the energies which we are meeting, the cosmic energies which are coming in, and how we can navigate this month. So just looking at the important themes for us for the month. So there's quite a bit happening this month. So big month. So lots for us to move through, lots for us to integrate, as well as lots for us to heal. So let's look at the main themes of the number 2 and what the number 2 really means. So number 2 is all about cooperation, balance. And we're also looking at themes of vision, hope, and progress. So stepping into cooperation and balance, when we looked at the theme for the year 8, and the challenges and the opportunities that the year 8 brings, it's a very transformational year for us. There's a lot for us to work through this year. There's going to be a lot of astrological alignments, cosmic alignments, which are going to bring massive transformation. We've been speaking about how Pluto is influencing that and how it's transitioned into Aquarius, which it'll be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So lots of transformations. So we can really anchor into the teachings, the alchemical properties that Pluto is bringing in, and the wisdom that Pluto is helping guide us through as it really holds that template for change. So when we look at cooperation, balance, vision, hope, and progress, how can we bring that into these energies that we are overarching this month for us? And here we need to, and one of the things I said when we looked at the year 8, is how important it is for us to look after ourselves, this regulation, this nervous system regulation, taking time to rest, pause, understand what's happening emotionally. We really need to be stepping into being in our vessel. So this cooperation and balance is quite important for us when we look at the number 2, because it's about what needs to change so that we can stay in balance for ourselves, so we're not overextending our energy, and how we can learn to establish those boundaries, keep those really strong, healthy boundaries in place. And I've spoken about changes need to be made so that we can preserve our energy and we can turn our energy inwards so we can start to resource from within us to facilitate the transformational changes that we're going through this year. So as we learn to work with those energies, it really starts to open our field up into visioning. I've also spoken about creativity. This is a year that we have to really step into creativity and us starting to create these realities and learning to vision. So 2 starts to bring that in for us. And it's a really beautiful time for us to, in those rests and those pauses, because, as the energies are increasing, picking up momentum, in those rests and those pauses that we take. So they're important because they help us to integrate, but also they help us to start to open up into this creative quality that we have. We tap into this creative conscious field that we are, and we can start to vision the future. We can start to vision what we are wanting to bring forward for ourselves. So quite important for us. And also, if we look at that last theme about progress, it's for us to really be quite discerning with ourselves in terms of, are we making the progress that is required for our soul evolutionary growth and process? And if not, then this is where we need to make the changes. This is where we need to learn to establish those boundaries so that we can learn to work with our energy as well as what's happening around us in a way that is going to be bountiful and fruitful for us and not just for others. So are we serving ourselves at the same time? So really, really important. So let's just go into the energy update, what we are looking at the moment. So this is such an intense week. It's beautiful. We've had so much happening in this week alone. Yesterday, which was Wednesday, the 7th, we had Venus transitioning, well, conjunct with the moon. And Venus is starting to slowly move down in her descension from the morning star. She still is the morning star, and she's moved from the solar plexus point into the womb space. So that happened yesterday. And again, that's a beautiful alignment because Venus is, the planet, the goddess of love. She really brings with us, or brings to us, qualities, heart-opening qualities, so that we can expand our field in love. And being conjunct with the moon, we can really start to tap into the intuitive, the feminine qualities, so that we can look and see what we are being guided towards in terms of our healing. So we just recently ran the 2-2 portal. And in the 2-2 portal, the theme that came through was really healing this heart wound, the collective heart wound. And straight after the 2-2 portal, we've got Venus conjunct with the moon. And it's really bringing in that feminine energy, that intuitive, that really stepping inwards into the body, really feeling into that wound and allowing that healing, allowing the heart to open. And with that, we've got Pluto circling and Chiron. Chiron's a wounded healer. And if we can lean into those energies, if we can lean into the energies and the frequencies and the wisdom they bring, they can be beautiful masters guiding the path for us to really step into understanding this wound that requires healing. So we have all of this right at this Imbolc period. And Imbolc is when we step out, it's one of the first high holy days of the year, and we step out of our winter and we start to move into the young summer. We move from the crone into the maiden phase. And Imbolc is almost the midwife, it's the birthing phase where we take the wisdom that the crone has brought us from all the seeds which have been planted and nurtured in our wintering phase, everything that we have reflected on and deeply nourished in that rest period, in the dark, in that stillness. And moving into this emerging of the sun, this young yin energy, this young light energy, we start to birth. So Imbolc is this birthing of this. And we've got Venus and the moon in womb space energy. So the powerful birthing portal, the portal of all of creation and all that we are, we can access through our womb space, or hara for men. So really powerful time for us there when we step into those energies and going back into that visioning and this creation and creativity. Beautiful energies to really step into, as we descend, as we follow that path of Venus and Inanna descending into that womb space. We can really access a deeper layer of healing for ourselves as we work with those frequencies, allowing Venus, the moon, Chiron, and Pluto to hold that template of healing, hold the pathway of light, so that we can find these pathways that are required for us to release what needs to be released as we really birth. We allow ourselves to be birthed as new into this new energy that is rising, this return of the sun. So allowing the strength and the vitality and the enthusiasm of the maiden energy to really carry us forward in our growth progress process. So quite beautiful there. And then we have this weekend, so tomorrow actually, so tomorrow is Friday the 9th, and we have the Lunar New Year. So today's Thursday, the 8th. So today is our dark moon, and a beautiful time to be in that reflective phase of really just seeing what it is that needs to be seeded with this super new moon. So take that time. We've got strong energies around us, which are assisting, guiding, influencing us to release. And in this dark moon period that we have today, we can take time to go into a place of deep stillness, deep reflection, and really see what is needing to be let go of, what we need to release, what needs to be healed. Think of Venus and the moon and that heart space, that wound, because Chiron is really influencing that wound element. What is that wound that is needing healing? And then we can move forward with the super new moon. So super new moon always means, stronger energies. When we have a super new moon, it's the lunar new year, it's the dragon energy. So we've spoken a lot about the dragon energy and what it's bringing for us. And the dragon energy is also bringing the birthing and the anchoring of the feminine energy, the divine feminine, because the dragon energy connects to the earth grids, the earth ley lines, the energy systems of the earth, which connects us to the Sophia consciousness, the mother consciousness. It's a very powerful time that we're in, particularly this week. A lot is influencing us, and also a lot for us to step into and to hold. And we can really feel that in our field. If you take time to be present and to really feel what's shifting through, what's emerging, what needs to be felt, what needs to be seen, we can really feel all of this moving through. With that, we've had some humdinger solar flares. And apparently we've got some more to come. Apparently the big one is still to come. And my perspective on solar flares is the same, is that the solar flares is the cosmic alignment and support coming through. And this is the energies which are coming in from source to facilitate the ascension process for the collective field. And it's just, disturbing what is in distortion for us. But that energy is going to move through the body. It will move through every cell in the body. So our entire toroidal field, from the microcosmic perspective, from that cellular perspective, your atoms, your electrons, to the macrocosm of the body, to the entire collective field, even bigger in the macrocosm, everything is going to be affected by those energies. So a beautiful solar energy coming through, codes of plasma, codes of light, to really activate the blueprints for us. And that's really what all of this is always about, isn't it? All these alignments, all the frequencies and the energies, when we really start to tap into them and understand what they're all about, they're all there by grand design, by divine design, to facilitate our ascension process for our return into the light. Not only us here on planet Earth, but the multitude of universes that exist within the cosmos, within the womb space of the Sophia consciousness. So stepping back a little bit more into looking at the number 2 and looking at what it is also bringing forward and what it means for us, is that the number 2 is a lot about the negative mind. And this is why we're going to be noticing the influence of this energy for us. So when we look at number 1, 1 is unity, 1 is wholeness. And 2 is that separation. So I spoke a little bit about this in the 2-2 portal. 2 is that separation from the 1. So this is the first time we experience separation. So now there are these 2 parts. And as these 2 parts are working they working coherently? Are they working in harmony? Are they in balance? So when there's a lot of distortion there, when we are avoiding the growth process, when we're avoiding the healing, when there is a lot of karma and distortion for us, what happens is that we can experience the negative mind. The 2 are not working in balance. They are not these, if we go back to what we spoke about in January about number 8, I spoke about how the mind and the heart space start to become these perfect reflections of each other, perfect reflections of harmony, peace, stillness. So 2 really brings this in the negative aspect. It brings this highlighted quality of the negative mind. So we really need to meet what's going on within the mind space, the egoic mind, and the separation that we have from the sacred mind. So as we work with the energies of the 2, as we do the healing work that's required, we can start to transcend this egoic mind, the lower mind, as we heal and transmute all that is in distortion in the egoic mind, and we can start to transcend that and come into a place of harmony and oneness with the sacred mind, which also then means that we can create this place of harmony and oneness within the sacred mind, the sacred heart, the infinite, and Mother Gaia. So we return into that oneness and wholeness, and then 2 becomes the mirror of each other. It becomes a perfect balance and harmony and still point of each other. So this is also what we're working towards in this month. And interesting with that, we've also got this influence, and I've been mentioning Chiron a little bit. We've got this influence of the planet Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And if you remember, I think it was in last week's class, I spoke about, can we start to look at, like before we always used to talk about Mercury retrograde. Please forgive me for what I said in Mercury retrograde. And Chiron is the same element. So Chiron really highlights the wound that needs healing. And this month we have this alignment with Chiron, which is approaching the North Node. So the North Node is where we are moving towards. So this is our guiding light. This is the node that guides us always along the path for us, our ascension path. And we have Chiron aligning with the North Node. Now, the last time this happened was in 2008. So quite a big deal energetically for us, quite a lot for us to really step into, because what it means is that Chiron brings with it the element of the wound that has been unhealed. So if we are really wanting to step into the path of healing and ascension and standing in our truth, our power, being really aligned to that, which is what the year 8 is bringing for us, we need to understand that this month is really bringing with it frequencies, properties, qualities, which are going to facilitate that in a way that is possibly going to feel uncomfortable for us, because the wounded healer, this is the stuff we don't want to feel. Chiron's is the stuff that we want to really suppress and submerge. And with it aligning to the North Node, it's really bringing it forward. So we really have to step out into this uncomfortable place to feel it, to experience it, and to allow the healing to happen. But there will always be the support, there will always be the other astrological alignments, the other frequencies which are coming in, the cosmic alignments which are also happening, as well as your own teams, your team of light, the galactic families, the ancestors. They'll all be stepping in to hold that light for healing for you. So, keep anchoring into stepping into this place of opening up the heart, and know that you'll always be guided into a place of healing. So let's look at the last little bit. Is we have our new moon, which is tomorrow. As I said, the lunar new moon. And, if we think about what's happening with the lunar new moon, I spoke a lot about it in our first class in January when we spoke about the year 8, the energies of the dragon. But the theme for our new moon is change is a welcome commodity which breeds opportunity for growth. So change is a welcome commodity. And this is something that I spoke about earlier in January, this element of change and how dysregulating it can be for us in our nervous system. Hence why we have created that toolbox for January for us to really work with in terms of helping us meet what's coming up in the mind, what's coming up in the emotional body, and what's coming up for us within the physical body. And I'm also putting out those weekly messages from the stars, the prompts. So keep working with those because they're really aligned to the energies that we're meeting and to help us stay in a place of openness and connection, really be in the vessel, be in union and be in gnosis of the vessel. So change is a welcome commodity. So we change the perspective here. We open up into that heart space of accepting and finding space for this change so that we can breed opportunity for growth. So here's that visioning and that creativity. When we resist, obviously, then we're closed in contraction. And when we're in that open space, then we are in flow and in that abundant energy of the cosmos, bringing in opportunities, growth through our visioning, through our creativity, through the birthing process. So allow that, find space for that. And then our new moon, full moon is on the 24th of February, so at the end of the month. And there we have the theme of easily determine what is and what is not my responsibility in any given relationship. So going back to the first things I said in terms of the cooperation and balance, the boundaries, responsibility, accountability, discernment. So here with the full moon, we can really step into that place of understanding what our role is in the distortion that we are experiencing, either within our own internal experience, external, or what we are experiencing from others towards us. And this is really the time that we might need to be establishing boundaries, maybe tightening that space around us so that we can take that time and space to deal with what we are creating, to work on that, to look at those patterns, but also understand, that there's only so much that we can give. We cannot overgive. So this is that cooperation. It's a breath. Cooperation is a breath. It's a giving and a receiving. We can't just give. We need to inhale. That is an important part of finding that balance. So quite an important theme for us this month is to learn to find this balance point. And, maybe just think of the theme as the breath for this is learning to give and receive to others. So giving to others, receiving from others. But most importantly, giving to yourself. How nourishing are you to yourself? In your time, in your attention, in your thoughts, in your energy. And what do you receive? Are you receiving? Are you receiving your own love? So are you meeting the needs that you have? Giving yourself, what are you giving? What are you receiving? So quite an important one for us here. And, every time I always think about relationship, I always think that the most important relationship we have is the one with ourselves. And again, you know, February, it's the whole month of relationships, right? Because 2 also is about a relationship. As we separate from the 1, we are always seeking that reconnection. So 2, you know, with Valentine's Day, it's this whole theme of love and this reconnection. But it's really the connection and this returning to love within ourselves so that we can find that space within the other. So I just want to make sure that I have covered everything that I wanted to talk about. Yeah. So just to wrap it all up, is to be discerning with the field, with what you are experiencing. Understand your responsibility, understand others' responsibilities. Find that point of balance for yourself. Keep working on learning to rest and come within. Keep stepping into this place of feeling what's been unfelt. We have a lot of, you know, with Pluto, Chiron, you know, Venus, Moon, all of these energies are really surfacing what's been in the shadow, what's been in the darkness, what's been undigested, unintegrated. So we have this time of working with that and allow that healing. And as you allow that healing, expand that a little bit into visioning, into creativity, into joy, into connection. So we've also got a lovely time with that this month. You know, we've also got beautiful energies coming in that allow us to step into that. You know, it's not just all, oh, these energies and these energies and these energies. There's beautiful emergences which are coming through, beautiful opportunities for creativity, for expansion, for connection, for joy. So as we find those balance points, we can experience that as well. Okay, so that is our themes for February, the energies, looking at astrologically, numerologically, cosmic alignments, and just looking at what's in the field for us. So I'll put out a little post for messages from the stars so that we've got some journal prompts to work with as well. And yeah, lots to grow and expand with this month. So wishing you lots of love as you step into it. Namaste.